Let's talk about the MJ missions a little bit.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Because you made her like the most OP character in the game. Let's just get it out there.
She's OP.
One shot everybody.
She's OP.
Let's talk about the MJ missions a little bit.
Okay, let's talk about it.
You made her like the most OP character in the game. Let's just get it out there.
She's OP.
One
She's
shot
OP.
everybody.
She's OP. And we had two choices. We could say, all right, we'll make it easy on us and just not do it. And everybody would go, great, no MJ missions. Or we could say, hey, we've talked about this, showing the world from all different angles. We're going to make her moments better. We're going to take on the challenge. We're going to make people like playing as her. We pick and choose our spots. We knew we had to make her more of a proactive, capable person. And if she's a little OP, I don't give a shit. She's fun. I don't care. I wanted her. I felt like it would be taking the easy way out if we didn't make her play to the point where I said, we're going to do it. I don't care. We'll cut other stuff because I want to make sure that it's important to show her be a capable hero. I think it's really important, and you don't need, this might sound cliche or whatever, cheesy, but like you don't need to have powers to be a hero. Yeah. And I wanted her to show that. And I think, like for example, in the original plan, she wasn't a playable character in the last mission, but we thought, hey, can we get all three of them working as a team, in that final mission? So at the very end, she's there.
I felt a lot of...
But yeah, she's OP. She's probably OP. I don't care.
I felt...
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Saladino. Alright, so I intend to get more into this in a later video, but I really hate this guy. So this is one of the so-called creative directors on Spider-Man 2 Electric Boogaloo. And it's clear that, at least in this guy's case, a creative director is just a title and not a description. So the reason why he can be so flip and so dismissive about the fact that, MJ is clearly too OP, and just the very fact that they ignored fan feedback and decided to still push the MJ missions down everybody's throats. He's so flip about that because he knows people are going to buy the game anyway. That's really the attitude. I think there's a deadness in your heart if you can say, whatever, you're going to buy it anyway. So even if it doesn't fit in the grand scheme of things, you're going to buy it anyway. This thing about, well, we saw it as a challenge to ourselves to ignore. And I didn't think it was a challenge. He's just framing it that way to make it sound like some kind of important, creative, profound decision despite what the fans actually wanted, to show how important, and necessary the theme of, you don't need powers to be a capable hero. It's bullshit. That wasn't why he did it. He did it because they need to have a woman in the game and she needs to be prominent. This is all about the whole stupid damsels in distress thing. They don't want her to be just a damsel in distress or just somebody off to the side who's just a love interest, who's at home, or, they could literally have her off somewhere doing her own thing. She didn't have to be in the game at all, but they don't care about that. You're going to buy the game. And even, so there are people now saying, all right, well, fuck it then. If this is how you feel, if you don't give a shit that she's OP and you think the whole thing is funny, fine. I'm going to wait till the game goes on sale and then I'll buy it. And somebody even referred to it as the MJ discount, where they're just not going to buy it until it goes on sale. And then, there's also people who've been saying forever, once they saw that she's clearly a trans woman and shaped like a 2x4, that they weren't going to buy it until it came out on PC so that they could, mod her out of the game or at least make her look better, whatever. So there are going to be people like that, but there's still plenty of people who are just going to put up with the game as it is now. They're going to pay full price and they're just going to power through the stuff that they don't like about it. Because that's pretty much what I did with the first game. I just was like, I don't like the MJ missions. I actually hated the MJ missions. I've already talked about that, but I powered through them just so I could get to the stuff that I wanted. This time I knew not to do that, because ultimately I figured they were not going to listen to fan feedback and stop putting her in the game. SJWs fundamentally misunderstand. No, actually they don't. They don't misunderstand. They know exactly what people want, but they don't like superheroes because to them it's just a power fantasy that's going to make straight white men feel more entitled and more privileged in the world. That's just how they see it. So to them, it makes perfect sense to say something as stupid as, I want to show MJ or show the world that you don't have to have powers to be a capable hero. when people play Spider-Man to be a superhero, not to play as MJ as a capable hero. You don't play a superhero game to be a capable hero. Your MJ doesn't even have to be in this game. The theme of Spider-Man, since its inception, is with great power comes great responsibility. Not, you don't need powers to be a capable hero. And the only way he gets away with this, again, is because people want to play a Spider-Man game. Even if they're just normies, they like Spider-Man enough to want to play. The gameplay is... So it's this thing where I think I was listening to a Kyle stream, and he was saying that, he just made the point that, the men are designing the gameplay and the women are writing the stories. Women should not be writing stories for men in superheroes, but they are. So to them, you've got this great gameplay, right? You're going around, swinging around the city, you're beating people up, you got all these gadgets, right? But you have to put up with, this trans woman yelling at Spider-Man, screeching at him about how his job means more to him than her, and how she doesn't like coming in second place to his job. And it's not his job. That's his life. Peter Parker is Spider-Man for life. It's not just a job. But, because you have Peter Parker, the whole Sony first party cinematic cutscene simulator thing where it's just, it's dramatic. Like the average person is probably not paying attention to the fact that MJ is unironically whining about, your job's more important to me. Even if you wanted to say, well, actually, she was possessed. That's why she's acting like that. But the way Peter is responding, he's responding to her as if they really are in, like this really is an issue with him being Spider-Man. And he's appeasing her narcissism and vanity, yelling about validation and stuff. He's not saying to her, wait a minute, this is nothing like you, MJ. You know why I do what I do. There's nothing that I do that stops you from doing what you want to do. Nobody knows that I'm Spider-Man. It's not like I'm getting all this great press as Spider-Man that MJ's got to be like, I tried to write a book, but everybody cares more about Spider-Man than me. Like, there's nothing stopping her from pursuing her career and doing her thing. What? Does he need to not be Spider-Man to sit at home while she writes out some shitty book? No. But there's a disconnect between what these women care about and what men want in a superhero game. And this creative director, this soy boy, is just enabling these women to get away with all this stuff. And he's flip because he knows, well, they'll buy it anyway. It's called Spider-Man. We've got these dramatic cutscenes, like I was saying. Everybody's talking all like dramatically and it seems profound. So it seems like, okay, this makes sense as a story. I can get into this without stopping to think, like, hold on, like Destiny, like, hold on. Why is Peter putting up with this from MJ? Now, we know, of course, like there's an issue going on, but why is he not telling her this is not you, as opposed to apologizing to this? If it was just about an evil entity that's taken over her body, why is he appeasing it instead of saying, this isn't you, you need to fight through this? We care about the people of this city. You are supposedly a hero. You don't need to be, you don't need great powers to be a capable hero. Why are you saying that you don't want to come second place to saving the city that you care so much about? Snap out of it, MJ. Shut up. But no, I'm sorry. You're stronger than me in every way. I don't know why I still be Spider-Man. I'm so selfish. They treat being a superhero like it's fun because Spider-Man fans, or geeks, we love the superhero stuff. It's fun for us because we're spectators. But the point of the story is that, again, with great power comes great responsibility. So for Peter Parker, it's not fun. It's like that issue is an older issue, a Stan Lee Ditko issue where Doc Ock, and I would look for it, I don't have time, but Doc Ock was telling him, this will be the end of your illustrious career, Spider-Man. And Pete was like, oh, right, yeah, my illustrious career. I get no pay, bad benefits, everybody hates me. Fine, ruin my career, I don't care. That's Spider-Man, not this, oh, please. I've been selfish. Yes, I've been going off having fun with having my power fantasy, but he is Spider-Man. It's not a fantasy. He's Spider-Man. He's not this straight white man who wishes he could have this power fantasy of being Spider-Man and everybody loving him. You look at somebody like Superman, right? Everybody loves Superman, right? That's his storyline. Everybody loves Superman because he's an aspirational hero, but everybody's scared of Batman. And when it comes to Spider-Man, everybody hates Spider-Man for the most part. They don't like Spider-Man. So this idea that, I was selfish. I should have thought about what you needed. What was he supposed to do if he's not Spider-Man? That's supposed to do something for her career. And again, they made her some stupid ass reporter. She doesn't need Spider-Man to be a reporter. She wasn't listening to his ass in the first game. So it's just everything is framed in this really idiotic way. They get away with it and they laugh at you because they control Spider-Man. They make the Spider-Man games. And even if you're a staunch, hardcore fan of Spider-Man, even if you turn away from Spider-Man altogether, you have no place else to go. So to them, it's funny. It's fine. They don't care. They got enough normies who were going to play the game and protect them because, a lot of these, these different tiers of being a gamer and a fan of something. You've got the staunch fans who love the source material and that's how they come to the game. Then you've got Sony fanboys who are just going to protect anything that's a first party game from Sony. They don't even care about Spider-Man. They're just going to play it because, we've got an exclusive that Xbox doesn't have or Nintendo Switch doesn't have. So that's why we care about Spider-Man. We don't give a shit about the gameplay or anything. We'll just play it, don't like it, play half the game and go on about our business. We're just glad that Sony has a popular, big IP that's exclusive to them. That's all. They don't care about it, right? Gaming is not this huge community that's always coming together. There's always, of course, infighting and stuff. So they don't need to worry about everybody coming together besides saying, oh yeah, MJ is ugly. But gamers don't typically say boycott something. They just say themselves, I'm not going to buy it. But there's no these huge campaigns like, trying to boycott Hogwarts Legacy or anything like that. So, he's a prick, this so-called creative director. And to me, again, if I was somebody who cared about my job and cared about the IP, in that interview, he's talking about there are actual fans of Spider-Man allegedly working on the game. And did they have nothing really to say about why is MJ in this fucking thing? I guess they couldn't. If there are a lot of men who are fans, they can't say anything because you got women there. And it's not like nobody's telling these women, look, I didn't hire you. Let's say if you have this woman writer saying, but it's important to have MJ in the game because her truth is needed. There's sexists out there who don't want to play as MJ and we can't give them what they want because women are important too. Even though, again, this is not a woman's genre. This is not a woman's hobby. You've been pressured to hire these stupid bitches. And instead of telling these cunts, hey, look, I didn't hire you as a woman. I hired you to be a writer. If you can't write a Spider-Man game and respect the source material, respect the customers, then you don't need to work at this. I'll find a woman who can do it. So if I fire you, I'm not firing you just because you're a woman. I'm firing you because you're a woman who refuses to do the job we need you to do a Spider-Man game. We're not trying to make a Mary Sue Watson simulator here. We're trying to do a fucking Spider-Man game. People who play Spider-Man want to play a superhero. If you already told us in the first game, they don't like the stupid MJ sections. We're not going to fucking do it again just because it's important to you not to have damsels in distress in a game. I didn't hire you again because you're a woman. Just tell them that. I didn't hire you to be a woman. I hired you to be a writer on Spider-Man. And if you're not capable as a woman to write a Spider-Man game that features Peter and I guess Miles, who I don't even care about, but if you can't write about men, then I need to hire men who can write about other men. Or I need to hire a woman who actually respects this shit. Shit, I'll call Danica 19 to write this shit. I don't need you to be here. I'll call Ann Descenti to do this shit. You don't need to just not to listen to these women just because they're like, we need MJ to not appeal to the male gaze, be trans friendly, and also have her truth featured throughout the game. You don't have to do that. You just be a man and say, hey, look, no, I hear you, but that's not what Spider-Man is about. If you want to go to Sony and tell them you want to try to get a DLC featuring MJ, do that. But right now, I hired you to write fucking Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Man. You need to focus on getting a story out that focuses on them and makes them fucking superheroes. Get the fuck out of my office. But whatever, they're not going to do that. But so the thing is, though, one of the reasons why I'm so glad Daily Wire decided to make their own Snow White is because Disney allowed Rachel Zegler to pop off at the mouth for months, completely tearing down the point of classic films and fairy tales. And even though it was hurting them, hurting Disney to have this little goofball out there running her mouth and tearing down the whole concept of evidently so 1938, it's clearly dated and women don't love and the prince was a stalker. Women want to be pursued, but now because he's pursuing somebody, he's a stalker. I don't even know. He didn't get consent from Snow White to kiss her to break a spell. Anyway, she's hurting them. They're going, can we release this shit? But they were still going to do it because it's like, well, nobody else is doing Snow White. We've got the slate of fairy tales. Everybody knows us. We've got a lot of publicity around us. We'll get enough people who don't care about a brown Snow White and, her band of merry they thems. So we're gonna put it out there's nothing anybody really can do but complain. Then again, you have Daily Wire. Then you have Brett Cooper, who looks like Snow White. And then it's like, oh, fuck, oh, shit. Just even if a Daily Wire has a cheaper production and they're considered, just a far right hell site, even if you try to paint them as that in the media, they still are going to get enough publicity because everybody's going to bounce off the fact that Daily Wire is doing a traditional Snow White, right? Because they could just do like the Shelley Duvall one, the one from like, what is that, the 80s, the HBO one? They can just do that and make it like that. And it'll be much more popular, much more successful, and much more embraced. And they're going to look like fucking idiots, Disney, if they put out the shit that they were going to put out. So, of course, I don't even know what's going on with that picture with, all of a sudden you got these creepy looking dwarves that's surrounding Zegla. It looks like they're about to run a train on her and they're just staring at her all freakishly. All of a sudden now, all this time, never heard anything about this. They talk about magical creatures, and then you saw the stand-ins who just look like they were all dressed up like a bunch of merry they them goofballs. Now all of a sudden you see a poster or a picture, a photo. I don't know if it was leaked. I'm not even sure if it was officially released, but you see this picture with these weirdo looking uncanny CGI dwarves. So, and I think that's why they pushed the release of the movie out, because they're now trying to scramble to actually put dwarves in it so they could say, no, this is actually more like the traditional Snow White that it's just that you're a racist if you don't want to watch it because you've got this mixed Latina girl in it. It's just funny. That's all it takes to try to suddenly appease the audience that you despise, is to have some actual competition. It doesn't have to be that big of a competition. You just have an alternative. They don't control Snow White to the point that someone else can't make it. So they have to now try to respond to backlash appropriately. But this is why SJWs hate shit like that. They hate when South Park calls them out with the Pandaverse. I still gotta watch the Pandaverse. They hate manga and anime because manga and anime is a huge alternative to the shit that they're doing with Marvel and DC. In fact, if Microsoft wanted to go to Marvel tomorrow and say to them, hey, we want to do a Spider-Man game too, but we want to hire or get a Japanese studio to do it, and we'll do a totally different storyline than the one that's going on that you have with Sony. I guarantee you there will be no more MJ stealth missions in any upcoming Spider-Man games coming out from Sony.